All right.
One of the things I think is my biggest problem that I've had lately, this used to be what I thought was the strongest parts of my game, but I kind of started focusing on other things, and it's so much touch that it lost it, I think, a little bit. I guess just like, when do you think you could use a shot that would be like more loft, like a flop more of it?
So
I mean, with something like this, you want to use more roll just so you take a lot of the air out of it.
Okay, so anytime you can get the ball rolling on the ground, there's less variables. So I believe in getting the ball rolling on the ground as quickly as possible. In terms of a flop shot, you're not necessarily looking to hit a flop shot here, but you want to use something with a little bit more loft, because if you land something real low, it's going to come out hotter and run away from the flag. So I have my 60 degree. I don't know, do you carry a 60? Okay.
Something that I guess somebody suggested to me, which, I mean, it's somebody who watches me for a couple holes. I was having issues with it, so that if I would use like a 56 degree, it'd be around instead. But I think it was just because I wasn't committing to the shot.
Yeah.
So I was coming up with too much loft instead of trying to roll it.
Yeah.
Because I was thinking in my head of rolling it, but in my club was loft. I wasn't hitting it hard enough, so instead I'm like hitting a high shot that lands right here.
I might be in the hole, Zach.
Okay.
Instead of like trying to.
I'll watch you hit a shot here, and just hit a normal shot how you normally would, and we'll see what we can do. Okay. So I think that's a decent shot there. I feel like there's a couple things that might lead to some problems for you. One, you got a pretty wide stance. I'd like to see you narrow it up a little bit. And then two, you're using a lot of the bounce of the club there. I think you saw that you hit behind it. A shot like this doesn't really require a lot of bounce. You want to just hit down on the back of the ball and let the 60 degree loft do it. That's why I think that you end up coming up short a lot. So let's narrow up your stance a little. Most of it's going to be set up.
It's still kind of like the same like placement of the ball.
Yeah, placement of the ball is solid, but let's even get it narrower than that. I'm thinking maybe your feet are about 1.5 inches to 2 inches apart. There we go. 60-40. Okay. So that was solid. You're finishing a little high.
Yeah.
But I like the idea there. It's a little bit different shot. Okay. Pretty solid.
Yeah, you want one?
And I think you're just going to get a lot more consistency out of that shot.
That's what I've been missing, is because into that being.
Yeah, the shot that you're hitting, that you hit the first time, is a great shot if you're out by the camber, where you're trying, because you have to carry it further, so it's got to have more length on it. But on a shot like this, you're only trying to carry it 5 yards maybe. So hitting a shot like this is a little bit more consistent, whereas that shot with the bounce is a little bit tougher to control, but also a lot can go wrong when you start messing around with the bounces.
Well, a little bit of spin one way or the other way.
And how it's going to react on the green. In all likelihood, it's going to land soft, but you might get a runner or a goer.
Sure.
You could bounce it off of the turf and end up blading it.
Sure.
So a shot like this around the green, where you don't have much green or grass in between you and the green, is going to work a little bit better. Let's see it one more time. Yeah, I like that a lot.
So now my hands should be where they're at, like kind of forward like that. Like
Yeah,
kind of have it.
I don't think it needs to be to the extent that you have it. There we go. At the end of the day, you just want to make sure that your hands stay ahead of the ball. It doesn't need to be like this, but you never want to get your hands back in this
because
position.
it still just needs to be a shoulder and not any kind of a wrist.
Yeah. When you think about it, when you're using the bounce of the club, that first shot you were hitting, the hands were probably behind the ball. That was a lift.
Yeah, that's probably what you would get.
The hands were behind the ball. Sure. And that's going to lead to the shot where it comes up short. It's a weaker shot. It's a little bit tougher. Much.
That makes sense. That's really just what I needed to do.
Here, let me shake your hand.